aware. Be very, very aware. Understand that something created this place. I call him the Heavenly Father, God, his son, who died for us. And we found a lot of evidence to prove that it's not just a book written by Freemasons. It wasn't what I thought it was, a bunch of rumors written a long time ago. Sure, there's fluff here and there, but there is so much evidence to prove everything that scientists are discovering is completely and totally wrong. It's amazing. Just the amount of birds on Earth is insane. Somebody designed each and every one. Because according to the mainstream story, there was a bird that used to be mud that was a wet rock before that just apparently held its breath till it turned into something. And then one day one turned into a giraffe. And it's so stupid. We were all created. We were given dominion over Earth. We kind of dropped the ball. And the time's coming to pay up. But don't be afraid. As long as you're good, you're good.
Yeah,
it's
and
pretty easy.
Most of mankind's walking around believing they're a monkey fish frog. I mean, how can you do that when you look at with objective eyes, not just seeing, folks? You're observing reality. This is huge. You observe it. The specific design of each animal to fit his place in the kingdom and what he was designed to do and why he was designed to do it. And you don't see it.
What about when you're watching, when you're in a boat that's this high above the water and you're cruising next to an alligator, and then you look down and that alligator is actually a tree root that looks identical to an alligator. It looks, the tree root floating in the water looks identical to an alligator's back, his eyes, his snout, everything. How did that plant evolve like that? Being a plant and all, you know what I mean? How did certain plants evolve to actually swallow and consume bugs and such? We were designed. People need to understand that. Why am I saying this? Well, because Richie's been everywhere. I like it. Wherever people ain't, that's where I'm at. So there's that. Don't be afraid. We knew this was coming at some point. Don't let their spell casting, broadcasting, black magic coming out of Hollywood, don't let it get to you. Be aware, understand what's happening, but you're not alone. And if this all comes to a sudden halt, there's nothing you can do for anybody else other than you. Your father, your mother, your stepmother, your kid. You can only tell people if they don't take it, they won't take it. And it's amazing to me how many people you can show evidence. Here's evidence to prove the words I'm saying. I can't hear you. I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me.
You can show them black and white. Yuri Bezmenov said it. They will not see the truth until the boot kicks them in the ass.
Yuri's the one that said it took 5 years and America's been under it for what, like 40?
Yeah, 40.
To the point where they tried to initiate a civil war, and we didn't even go for that.
Yeah, we're too docile. We're actually over-programmed, and the normalization process is playing out. The normalization process is so far along in America that we actually, on television, on prime time, we are now allowing 8-year-old boys to prance out as transgender on TV for the whole world to see. Folks, that means the programming is pretty deep. That means in order for us to actually believe in our minds a lie so delusional that we can be something that we are not is pretty deep, folks. That's pretty deep programming.
Here's Evie, if that's how you say it. If not, whatever. Somebody else said, I can't see that weird star in the sky or whatever it is, the second moon, the sun, the Nibiru, the spaceship, whatever it is. I can't either. I can see the moon kind of behind a chemical veil. How is this speeding up the New World Order? Well, because this is going to knock down about 9 out of 10 pins. It's going to collapse the dollar. It wasn't our fault. It was coronavirus. And everybody's broke. Well, now that you're broke, you're completely and totally at their mercy. They're already telling you they're going to institute checkpoints. How are they going to say you can't fly in an airplane unless you got a vaccine? Papers, please, or worse. And that's, if that even flies for an instant, no pun intended, that's going to go on trains, planes, automobiles, and absolutely everywhere. This is how you institute it. And if people don't get their vaccines, that's going to cause a problem. And I'll lose my head before they jab me with a needle.
It's not happening.
It's just not happening. And we've already done videos on this, like, what happens when it really does happen? Yeah. Think about this. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know what it's going to react with. There is no way that people that are letting a national debt, the one that we see, just zoom like that. They can't govern. They can't take care of the roads. They can't keep peace in the country. They constantly divide the people. The government can't do anything, but they can inject chemicals in you against your will, even though they own the patents to the disease the chemicals are going to cure. I ain't letting them do that. Period. No. Period.
Well, I know what my temple is, and they're not destroying that holy temple, which was built for me. They're not going to take and put something into my consciousness or into my body that will change my conscience and take me away. It's just not worth it to me, because I know what is in me. I know what it. I can't explain that to anybody else. You just have to come to that realization and knowing. And when you get to that realization and knowing, what will drop from you is the fear. And that's that. Once the fear drops, you just keep moving forward and you fix what's wrong with you. And as you fix what's wrong with you within you, you are able to fix those a little bit better around you. Well, here's the deal, Michael.
Can you say this? Can they email you?
Yeah. Well, look, I would advise people that are looking into the national ID is going to be under a United States federal citizen that is domiciled in the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C. That means you're an employee of the corporation. Now, I hope you're writing this down, Michael. That means you're an employee of the corporation. As an employee of that corporation, you have duties. That means you've been instituted into that a de facto corporation in Washington, D.C. This national ID is going to be run off that. This is going to be private international law, run out of UNIDROIT, UCC code. Listen, folks, for everything that they do in this reality, there's a remedy. You just have to search it out. There's remedies out there for us. How long those last, I cannot tell you that. I don't know, because when they completely collapse this thing, and they eventually will, are those remedies still going to stand? Probably not. What will stand, though? The fact that I continue doing the Father's will and stand strong in the truth, and they can never take me from that.
Don't be afraid. There is a reason that everything they do, and I know you're going to agree on this, everything they do is to push you into a state of fear, which is something that the Bible mentions. God does not give us a spirit of fear. And I struggle with that a lot. You know what I mean? I grew up in a violent place. Fear was used as a tool to keep people in check. I saw it on a smaller scale. Well, I'm not little anymore, and I'm not standing for it. And especially against these people, because if you took them one by one, they're whimpering, cowardly little scum of the earth that I couldn't even possibly imagine wanting to be a politician or a powerful elitist or any of these. I've had people working for me, and I feel bad telling them to do their jobs. I don't feel right telling other people what to do. You know what I'm saying? These people thrive on it. Remember Iraq? I really hope out of all the people in America, the people that are in this live stream and that follow these channels, understand that we went to war with Iraq under an enormous lie and killed a bunch of women and children, over 1 million, and then gave the rest of them all sorts of wacky vaccines and diseases to this day. It was all a lie, and we didn't do it. We didn't push it, but we didn't stop it either.
That's right.
Woe to those that harm the children. You know what I'm saying?
And I said this, and listen, I said this about the coronavirus when it first started happening, that the most alarming thing to me was the fact that they could post on the news for everybody that 65 million people had been quarantined, and the world didn't come up in an outcry. If you wish evil on your neighbor, expect it onto yourself.
Right. I believe
it's coming to you.
That's what that astronomical number had to have been, to see. Will other countries actually say, wait a minute. 65 million is a third. It's not a third. It's a lot of the United States. It's less than a third, but it's from Maine to Florida, straight east of the Mississippi. You know, like, imagine all of a sudden everybody's under quarantine. Wouldn't you want somebody to help you? You wouldn't be able to communicate. It'd be completely shut down.
Well, and who's the arbitrator?
Is what I'm saying.
Who's the arbitrator of who goes to quarantine? And when you give men that power, that authority to be tyrannical, they will always be tyrannical. It's never ending from Nimrod forward.
We didn't start the fire, but the house is burning down now, brother. You ain't wrong. What's up, RB?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to watch how easily the masses are manipulated and moved exactly where they want.
You see that question?
Does anyone know what Bible actually is the one we can trust? So let me answer that crying shame.
Here we go.
I work out of the Geneva 1560 version. I work out of the KJV 1611. I work out of the KJV authorized, the LAB. I have what's that name up there? The Companion Bible. I've got a bunch of Bibles, and then I've got the eSword. What I do is I compare precept upon precept, line upon line, and if you have the spirit that seeks truth, you will learn to diligently seek it, and you will rightly divide the word of truth. It'll find you, my friend.
Mr. Mensa, we covered that. That was one of the many people that came forward. There are people that came forward, but all of them met unbelievable, comical deaths. You know, guys the holistic doctors were notorious for it. He hung himself wearing an S&M suit. I think one of Hillary and Bill's people did that too. He hung himself. It's ridiculous. I hear you. Yeah, we've covered that pretty much ad nauseum.
The one that got me on the holistic doctors was the one in North Carolina who shot himself twice in the head with a shotgun. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, eSword seems to be what a lot of people say.
Yes, it is. It's amazing.
It's amazing to use in addition to.
Right. Right. But I still like to hold something in my hands and read it. And of course, most of my channel knows that I have spent a good bit of money in the last. You knew they were going to say something.
There you go.
Rightly divide the word of truth, folks. Deuteronomy means second law. I've still got more researching to do. What I presented was,
the computer's not plugged in. Go ahead.
What I presented this weekend was to show who sat in the seat of Moses, whether it's the real Moses or not. I personally believe it's not the real one, but I have no way to prove that.
Are you done with that study, or is there more coming?
There's going to be more from that study. What I did was I talked about it the previous week, and I saw everybody having issues with it, but I wanted to prove my point. And I think I proved my point. The commandments stand forever. The Father's law stands forever. It's period. There can be no wrong if there's no law. It's just do what thou wilt, do whatever you want. But we know that the kingdom of death and the kingdom of life. I don't want to F this all up. The Father's jurisdiction or the beast's jurisdiction. It's very simple. The lies are always complex. The truth is simple. So to confound and confuse everyone, you mix bitter with sweets, good with evil, and that's what's done. They have controlled the printing presses, folks. That is the most important part. They have to give you the truth. They don't have to tell you where it is.
Well, check this out. We were just talking about this. Now, the Torah. All right, make sure I say this. I'm going to say it wrong and you fix it out.
Okay.
How's that? The Torah is their Bible, but it's like their Bible for the lower level people. It's the Bible for the body, and according to them, the Talmud is the Bible for your spirit.
Right.
Did I get that?
Yeah, you're actually correct. So the Kabbalah is the spiritual interpretation of it.
Right. So here's what we show everybody, and this is what we believe. Poking a 3-year-old in the eye is the same thing as raping a little kid. It's just no biggie. No big deal. Yeah, I don't dig that. I don't dig that whatsoever at all. So,
well, this is where they get the war documents from. The very fact that they call the Goyim an animal soul. Remember, folks, you were given dominion. And we were supposed to till the garden. That's what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to create altars of earth. Many people read that and don't know what an altar of earth is. From the dust of the ground you have been made, and from the dust of the ground you shall return. and the life that was given to you shall return back to the Father who gave it. And so when you recognize that, and the reason why they're always lowering the goyim.
Really? Wow, that's crazy. Where did you get a picture of Moses with horns? From my live stream or Brandon's or Russian vids or Nicholson? It's old news. It's been around a long time.
Yes, it has been around a long time. And the fact that I knew that it was around didn't surprise me. What surprised me was
when you pulled that out of the
Congress.
That was a trip. And the way that you noticed it, everybody, because I would never have seen that in a million years. All the statues are looking
towards him,
and then he's looking out with the horns. So that was done deliberately, as so very many have been done deliberately. Moses with horns. We were talking the other day, and Brandon said, and this is the first time, and I think about this. He said, Moses climbs the mountain, and God hands Moses the 10 Commandments. Now think about this. All right, Moses, I created everybody. You're the only one that's going to be allowed to actually interact with me in this level. These are the 10 things that you and everybody down there that are burning cows and making stupid gold idols, doing every other crazy thing down there, do these 10 things and all is well. He hands them to Moses. What's the first thing Moses does with them? Brandon asked me. I said, he broke them. He dropped them. Right off the bat. I mean, seriously, God hands you the most important thing for mankind and you're, oops, my bad. Hey, hold on to this. Oh my goodness, I just broke it. Think about that. Right off the bat, this guy has the intestinal fortitude, the spiritual awakenedness, and whatnot to actually stand before Almighty God and take the 10 Commandments, and he drops them.
Yeah,
I think that was a bigger, because it hit when as soon as I said it, I went, he broke them.
Yeah,
right away.
And listen, on that issue, folks, on that issue. I showed a while back. Remember when I did this 1611 Bible, and I showed the painting in the front of it with Bachan and Joaz and the 12 apostles and everything there. You have to learn to rightly divide the word of truth, folks. We don't control what the printing press. I'm going to tell you, if you go read the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, you might figure out who does.
It's pretty old. It's really old. If you're still trying to figure out who's running the media right now,
you got a problem.
You got a problem, and I'm not saying that in a bad way because a lot of people are just coming around, and that's awesome. But I mean, this is all old news. It's been around a long time.
Very long time. Very long time.
Jerk-offs like me and Brandon can figure it out a long time ago, and so many others. Anybody can. But the problem is that's all changing. 10 years ago on YouTube, it was the Wild West. You could find out anything. It was just no holds barred.
Right.
Now they're squeezing it. And any day the lights are going to go out because they're making moves.
And they're restricting our very ability to use our words, folks. And the Father himself created everything with an utterance, with a word. That tells you how important our words are. If we're made in the similitude of him, it is very important to know at all times exactly what we're speaking. And that is the problem with the languages that we speak today. They're babble, and we have no idea, no clue the power that we hold within. Just if you just start defining terms, if you just get a dictionary and start defining the terms, there's a lot of words that you believe that you know that you really do not know. And especially if you go get the flip side of that definition, you go get the Black's Law. Of course, it's Black's Law dictionary, right? They're telling you something. The symbology there, it's from the black side, it's from the dark side, and you start defining terms that you believe you know. Your eyes will come open to what's going on.
I can't believe, honey. Hear what I just said. God just handed you the directions for all mankind. Oh, I'm disgusted, so I'm just going to throw it away. Any reason why you think throughout time immemorial, everyone's made statues of Moses with horns? Do you know what I'm saying? If you want to think that, that's fine. Who wrote that Moses was disgusted?
Well, here we go. Let's do this. Let's do Matthew 20.
Answer this poor girl right here. Is that also, but this one's popped up like 6 times real quick. Why Jesus? Why Yeshua?
Well, I actually use the Aramaic Yahushua. And there's a reason for that, because there's a clear definition of what the word means. By thy words thou shalt be justified, by thy words thou shalt be condemned. The very fact that Yahushua means the Father saves. That's period. That's what it means. The Father saves. That's why I use Yahushua. The very fact that the J didn't get instituted. If you have a 1611 KJV like I do, it was IE. If you have a 1560 Geneva, it was IE. This in English is also a derivative of Latin. That's why I'm taking Latin classes right now. I wish I could show y'all my definitions for the week out of 50 words that I'm learning this week. 45, I think 42 of them are English root words that I'm learning in Latin. They have controlled our language, and it gets right back into what we were talking about. They have controlled what we utter out of our mouths for so long that we have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten the power that was given to us, the very fact that we were given the dominion. We have forgot. And of course, we run around here scared to death, applying for safety and protection from a government that once you ask for protection, what you have given up is your rights. And it's just a fact. I've got plenty of law cases on that too. UCC code. Once you go ask for something, once you receive a benefit, you've lost a right. All these things. Listen, folks, they're not giving out free anything. You give up something when you take something. That's a fact of life.
Words. Well, Cindy, it's a funny comment that you happen to bring up because we were talking about this. There are, and they're hard to find now, Japanese scientists. I put these videos up. I've mirrored them. Everybody's mirrored them, where they're literally growing rice, playing symphony music as opposed to Metallica, as opposed to Hitler. It absolutely changes all of them. Does. We were just talking about this the other day. When's the last time you saw it snow? I just did in Indiana. When's the last time you saw it snow and the snowflakes came down and they were beautiful, individual, sacred geometry designs? Every single solitary one of them. That's what I grew up with. You don't see that anymore because the air is loaded with frequencies, and it's all frequencies of fear. Everything comes down in nanoparticulates now that looks like rock salt coming from the sky. We were just talking about, I was thinking, God definitely doesn't have an attention span like me or anyone I know, because to absolutely think of everything all at one time in his imagination or whatever it is, and then verbalize it with the word and create everything. And all of that word is still reverberating right now through frequencies. And I find it really strange that all they're doing is instituting more and more deadly frequencies, 2.3, 5G, whatever else, if they have even actually need it, but it's all going against creation. And it's showing. Animals are dying off by 50. In a year's time, 50% of the bees on Earth are gone. 50% of the birds are gone. I mean, seriously, when's anyone going to care? Nobody cares. Where I live, people, if a raccoon comes in the yard, people call somebody. We're going to need a guy here. There's a raccoon. He could be zombie raccoon, or he could be morbid. They come there and they kill it. They shoot it. They burn it. Everybody covers their lawns, their trees, and everything else with Monsanto because it's easier. No one's got time to fertilize the grass or learn how to grow plants or fruits or vegetables, etc. It's rampant. We were given dominion and we lost it. We
did. We
gave it away.
And listen, the very first thing, the stuff that we talk about on my channel is the power of our words. That's a big, big, big topic. And the reason for that is because once you come back into knowledge of the power of your words, you'll start speaking differently. You'll think about the things that you actually say, and we'll start speaking life. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. And it has that. That's a huge. And one of your favorite scriptures is, as a man thinketh in his heart, so it is, right?
It's not my favorite. It scares me.
Yeah, it scares you. Yeah, and that's true. That's what he said. He told me the first day he got here, he said, dude, this scares me, that as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. And the reason what doesn't defile a man is what goes into his mouth, because that comes out of the drop. It's what comes out of the mouth is what is in the heart. And once you start realizing that you do have the power to repel these things back. And I don't know if we can change it now, but what I'm going to tell each and every one of you out there is start fixing yourself within, and then you can help more people. If they always have a choice. They're not always going to listen. There are going to be many with that cognitive dissonance, deer in the headlight look when you start, oh, chemtrails, my TV told you. Well, look, dust off your feet and go somewhere else and let your peace return back to you. Don't live in a constant state of fear within this society.
I don't know who that person is. I've never heard of them, and I'm good. I just explained to you what I think. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah,
I don't, and I'll tell everybody out there right now, I don't watch other YouTubers preach. I don't do that.
No, negative.
I do.
I stumbled upon Brandon, or however it happened, and what I liked best about him is everybody was like, this was right when they're getting ready to take guns away in Virginia. They're going to get angry about Virginia. Virginia were very upset. Guns, guns, guns. And I kept thinking, people are thinking, they're posting all over social media, well, they can't take away. That's in the Constitution. It's like, you guys not been around here? You see what a free speech zone is? That's also in the Constitution. And believe it or not, it's gone. It's gone. And I happen to know for a fact that they have better weapons than bullets. I'd rather be shot any day of the week than get hit with frequencies, especially when you're trying to sleep and they hit you to the point where it scares you so much you leave your own house. And from what everyone else can see, you're just freaking out, running out of the room. You know what I'm saying? They don't.
Well, yeah.
Brandon broke it down and showed how they told us the entire time, we're going to take away your rights unless you don't let us.
Yeah, well, Teddy Roosevelt, after he made the New Deal, sat up and gave a big old speech that the only way that you're ever going to be free is if you're able to self-govern. Well, what do? They start instituting all kind of public welfare programs, Social Security, all these deals, this socialistic mindset. Listen, forced socialism is forced plunder and theft. Living in a socialism society is completely contrary to the Father's kingdom. And when you recognize and start putting everything that you learn into the two kingdoms and separate, because listen, whether you want to realize or not, we live in duality world, period.
Don't complicate it.
Yeah.
Don't complicate it.
And just separate.
I spelled your name with two B's.
Oh, wow.
For those researchers out there looking for the truth, the first thing you might want to look for is the Thebigsib YouTube channel. That's what Brandon's link is. I'm not putting the link up because I'm not on my computer right now, but when I'm done, I will, like I always do. It's weird. It's weird. Don't know who you are, Philip, and I'm gonna figure that's rude, and you're gone. So how's that?
Oh, who's fishing on Cato Lake?
Nice. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
That's a good, nice little fishing lake.
Richie caught a big ass catfish last night in the middle of the night, and he got away. I got him on video to boot, night vision to make it more dramatic. I put him in the big what's that thing called?
The hoop net.
Put him in the old hoop net, and I thought to myself, man, the water's pretty low, so I'll move him down one post. Well, the water came up a foot overnight, and he got away. I was pissed. Whatever. But I got tons of footage. Mike, look at Mike Decker. He's the man. Mike, you're the man.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike's the best.
That's a great guy. He really is. Mike, you're awesome, buddy.
I might end up in Mike's neck of the woods fairly shortly. I'm having an issue with the electrical on my truck. I'm working on it for 2 days. Whatever. What are you gonna do? It happens.
Hey, did you want to tell? Well, you didn't get video about it. You made your first cast today, and you got 2 shad.
No, I don't want to talk about it. Nobody gives a shit about 2 shad.
Oh, man.
These guys in shad, they love shad.
Well, yeah, that's what you catch everything on.
Yeah, and then it just gets away. So what's the point? It's a New World Order fish. Okay, who's trolling? I'm seeing things. Let me kick somebody out. Who's So what's he saying? Saying stuff? Oh, no. It's just a dope. Let's take a look. Biden proposes. Yeah, who cares? It's all fake. It makes no difference. The money's not real. Here's what you should be writing. They're trying to trick people into thinking having money or any physical value other than a digital system that they entirely control which means they got you. They're trying to tell you that that's going to be a bad thing. You might want to pay attention to that. Don't worry about the make-believe taxes. It doesn't make any difference. It makes zero difference. If you want to talk about Biden, what did Joe Biden do? He didn't do the Project for the New American Century, but he had a huge hand in authoring the Patriot Act, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think
there's one, you know. Who cares about a tax increase? It doesn't make any difference anymore. In my estimation of things.
Well, dude, they got the CAFR accounts. They've got your school boards. Listen, folks, I ask each and every one of you, go find out who owns the most property in your parish, county, their parishes here, and you'll find out that your school board, the Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, and Chase school board system owns most of the land in most parishes.
Dominicans love me. A Dominican chick stabbed me, dude. You can't. All right. Well, that was only one. All right, cool.
That's just one.
It was ugly. She had a twin. It was a long story. Yeah, Patriot Act. That's coming up. It's just things are so crazy how they're trying to juggle all these things. And if they get them right, it's going to be good. If they don't, they might accidentally wake up a lot of people, which is frightening because if they get really scared, they're just watching right now. Okay, these guys think it's a bioweapon. I make that illegal to talk about. Okay, these guys are linking it with 5G. Make a couple more adjustments. They're just studying right now, but they're moving forward with their studies. If they scare too many people and wake them all up, then they're going to have to do 9/11 again.
Well, and here we go again. Every time they go into, they're about to make a move into their next system that they want, there's an opportunity for men and women to snap up out of their laws.
Indeed.
It is something that I always pray about, is that Father will give sight to those who actually want to have sight. And I'm going to tell you, there's always opportunity. It's up to the hearts of men. And unfortunately, most men's hearts are evil, wicked. I know Coin Greed. I know what they're talking about. Me and him's argued back and forth a few times.
Real nice. What is that? A honey badger? Those are two Wolverines, dude.
Two Wolverines.
I'll catch it. I will try to catch a Wolverine. Can I recommend a video and channel, Richie? I don't know. All right, guys.
My face is sun.
Yeah, well, yeah. Your faces are red. Just finished explaining. We're on the bayou for 2 days in a boat.
We're sunburned.
Yep. Styrofoam. Okay, let me reiterate for the people that just jumped in and aren't going to watch this entire thing over again on both channels or whatever. Where is that picture I had? I lost it. Whatever. If you see any of these wacky 5G trucks, vans that say stay back 90 feet, that say ARAN, ARAN on them, you can't miss them. They're vans with what appear to be 5G transponders on top and on the sides. Send them. rjcjr10@yahoo.com. And I guess I'll make a video about this tomorrow, but when I was at my subscriber Connie and Miguel's house in Indiana, they sent me a copy of it. Their child was sent home from school with a take-home test. So this was for the parents to see, not just the kids, the children. It said, if you had to go to a resettlement camp, what are the top 10 things you would bring? I'm not reading. I'm looking at you. See that? They just did this Wednesday, last week. If you had to go to a resettlement camp, what are the top 10 things you would bring? They gave this to somebody's kid and said, bring this home to your parents. Testing. Wake up, people. Or don't. Richie from Boston, Big Sib, everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up or don't. We're out.